October 13th. Lost some time this week. Had some projects I had to get wrapped up. So I'm getting around to feed today. I thought it was going to rain all day. We've got the remnants of Hurricane Francine coming through. Got a good rain yesterday, thank goodness. We need it. And it was supposed to rain all day today, but they've changed the forecast. I've got a window where I can actually get out and feed bees. And I haven't been able to get out in 6 days or something like that. So I'm gonna get all I can feed done today. This is probably my lightest weight yard, so I'm starting with them. Then I'm gonna move into the yards that I haven't seen in a little while. This is my highest mite hive this year. I cleaned off their screen bottom the last time I was in here and then gave them another dose of Oxalic, so this will be a good check on how many mites we've got left. And a lot of hive debris down there, but also a lot of mites. That's a mite, that's a mite, that's a mite, mite. So they've still got some issues, definitely. I think they've had 3 doses now. Still got some issues. I really don't like doing Oxalic when it's this wet, because water pools on the bottom boards. And this is even if they are tilted forward some, it still will pool. Then you get all the hissing and stuff. And so I don't know, I might wait till it dries up to give them another dose, but if we've got temperatures, they might be a candidate for formic. Out feeding some more yards. This one is topping off pretty nicely. Not seen any dangerously light, even though I haven't been here in 2.5 or 3 weeks. Thought this was pretty interesting here. That's a European hornet that got in that hive and went all the way to the top. I guess the bees chased it up here, and either they corralled it in under the lid or killed it or something. They've got it entombed up here. These migratory lids, you'll see wax moth larvae and stuff get on top of these top bars, and the bees just propolize them in there. It's amazing how they can get access to that. Flooding and too much rain in the spring, drought all through the summer, and now I would say billions of army worms. It's been a year.
They like to crawl up all over.
Have you made some pets?
No, they're not pets.
So you're catching them and putting them in your wheelbarrow?
And I got this little dog bone from Max when he was little, and he loved to chew on it. So I'm using it for the army worms to climb on.
Oh, good. These are really grumpy this morning. It's early, it's overcast. I'm having to smoke them a lot more than normal. This has been my lightest weight yard for weeks now. This is my last round of nukes that I moved out, so that makes sense. They didn't have the time to get started that everybody else did. And they are starting to pick up some weight. I've really been feeding them pretty regularly. I've been on top of it the last 2 or 3 weeks, trying to get out here twice a week. And they're starting to get some weight. 2 weeks ago, I came out and some of these hives were dangerously light. Oh, don't sting me. That is not nice. That is not nice. Stay down. Bees in the shade are grumpy bees. This is a pretty shady yard. They have a lot more hive beetle problems, and they're grumpier than bees in full sun. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but I do notice that. Bees are really pissy today. It's not fun working them when they're like this. Pretty good looking hive there. This one's got some mixed Italian and Caucasian stock in it. Kind of a salt and pepper look. You can see more of a, I don't really have any true Italian that's like a golden Italian, a real yellow looking body. Mine are more crossbred mutts that are kind of leather colored. And then I've got some that have more Caucasian in them. They're darker. So you can see those next to each other. You get the gray bodies or darker bodies next to the more Italian or leather colored. Those are coming out of the same queen. I like to have some diversity in my drone stock. I think that hybrid vigor helps. So I do like hybrid vigor, just like in cattle or pigs especially. You take 2 purebred parents, cross them, and the progeny will outperform either a purebred parent. You combine that with the polyandry that Keith Delaplane talks about in his video with Bob Benny, and I think there is a lot of advantages to having very unrelated drone stock. The alleles, if you get opposing allele sets, you just get more hybrid vigor in your stock. So I do like doing that. Sometimes though, you can cross 2 lines and come up with some cranky bees. You have to be careful about that and make sure to weed that stuff out. I'm complaining about my bees being cranky today, but still, compared to some others that I've worked, they're really not that bad. It's just a cloudy, overcast day, and it's early in the morning. Sun's not really up. There's nothing for them to work. And they don't want to be messed with. You know, I don't want to be messed with first thing in the morning before I've had a cup of coffee either. can tell just by the way that smoker's rolling that it's too hot. You feel heat, you're cooking your bees. They don't like that. Fortunately, that is an easy fix. Let's pack some more fuel down. That cuts off the air supply. And cool it right off. You can also put some green grass down in there and that'll cool it down. So that is still the lightest hive in this entire yard. That's okay, even it's starting to get some weight. This one was dangerously light and it's getting heavy. You can see the bees are looking pretty good. It's a full hive. I'm sure I gave them some of those frames, but they've got brood all the way up to the top. And they got quite a bit of weight in there, so that's good. Good winter population. A lot of feed. New bees. That's good. I really do like the battery powered Oxalic vaporizers for, you know, just doing Oxalic as I go. I don't have to have the generator with me. That's pretty handy. I gotta say that these 15 amp hour batteries are expensive, but I like them a lot better than even the 6 amp hour batteries because it takes quite a bit of power to get these things hot. And once they're hot, it doesn't take that much in between doses as you do a yard. With 2 of these 15 amp hour batteries and these 2 vaporizers, I can get 4 yards done, 24 hives per yard, so right at 100 hives. And then they'll be low enough that I'll have to replace the batteries. I do have a couple of 9 amp hours, and then I've got quite a few 6 amp hour batteries, but if I was going to buy any more just for vaporizing, I think I'd get another set of the 15s. I really do like those. There are quite a few differences in the Instant Vape and the Pro Vape. I would say both have their pros and cons. Some of the pros here, I like the shape of this better. This fits into bottom boards that are closer to the ground easier. This will fit into some bottom boards that this one will not fit into. The battery on this one is more cantilevered away from the bottom board, so I'm putting more weight on the stem. This one, the battery weight is quite a bit closer to the stem, so there's less force there. But overall, in ease of usability, I much prefer the Instant Vape. And the major reason is the spring in that cartridge. See, it's got an internal large spring, where this one just has that external spring on the stem. This one binds up. It gets clogged up with Oxalic and it gets stuck real easy. That's a much weaker spring than what's on this one. This is a much better dispenser than this one is as far as ease of use goes. Now this one picks up Oxalic better because it's a larger diameter. This one with real dry Oxalic, I have trouble getting a full dose in there. I also really like that this unit fits in a standard 50 cal ammo can. This one won't fit in a standard 50 cal ammo can. I've got to have a 40 millimeter ammo can for it to fit in, and then it rattles around in there a lot. I have not tried the Instant Vape Compact yet, but I may actually get one of those as well, just because I think I could run 3 at a time. And if I could run 3 at a time, of course, that gets me through faster, and I also can do more yards on a set of batteries. Just pulled into this yard and my landowner's done something down here. I don't know exactly what. He's got this little bit of waste ground. It looks like he came up here and disked it up and sowed something. It's not grass. Well, I don't know what that is. That could be turnips or something like that. But surely he wouldn't put a turnip patch on this hillside. I wonder if he planted something for my bees. I enjoy working with my landlords and people that I've got bee yards on. Consider most of them friends, and it really wouldn't surprise me if he planted something that he thought would benefit the bees, you know, right here next to the bee yard. So I do have a couple more comments on these vaporizers. This is by no means a review. You know, if I was going to do a review, it would be titled as such, and it would just be about that. It'd be a separate video. This is just some comments from use. I want to talk about the battery shoes on these. This is the Instant Vape. This is the Pro Vape. I had to file down the battery shoe on the Pro Vape. I think this is 3D printed. They may both be 3D printed. They look like it. But I had to file this down because it was getting stuck on the battery. And then one of these connectors got loose. I had to put a bunch more silicone in here. Those are just held in by silicone. And I had to put a bunch more silicone in there to keep them steady. And they're still mobile. I mean, you can see the wire move as I wiggle that. It works fine now with all that silicone in there holding it, but it is by no means as robust as this one. This thing's solid. That's buried in the plastic. That is a much better design than this. You can see the wear marks on this. I have had to file that down. And this has got an off button. I like off buttons. It's one more thing to wear out, but at least I can turn this thing off. The only way to turn this off is to unhook the battery. When the battery is stuck in it because the shoe is too rough or malformed or whatever, you can't turn it off. So that's a problem. I've got it fixed and it's working slick now, but it speaks to quality of design and quality of manufacturing in my mind. I don't know if they've improved that since I bought it, but that is better than that. The Pro Vape will rest on that bottom board. The Instant Vape will not. So this one will work with more bottom boards. This one needs a more depth here. Got all this goldenrod in full bloom. No honeybees on it, which is interesting. We got a bee yard right there. Either they're just not out flying yet, or they're working something else, or this is just not producing anything.